Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Jets, and I'm here to talk about whatever happened today. That's the only way I can really describe it. I would say game, but like that was not a game. That was an event. That was an event. That was no football game. I've watched a lot of football, and I know what that looks like. This was like borderline slapstick comedy. I feel like that's really where this lands, because oh dear God, what took place on October 29th in MetLife Stadium? It was this. It's a sound effect. It was that. And like, a lot of these videos, the Jets videos are the most manic videos I make. By the way, in case anyone hasn't noticed, this is the Week 8 video. I'm making the Week 8 video for the New York Jets versus the Giants, where the Jets win 13-10. Anyway, this is I can't just talk about like outlines. I have to hold you guys' hand through the experience that was this game, because everyone else at the Beef O'Brady's I was at got to witness the active mental decline of me sitting in that chair having an aneurysm as I bared witness to the Jets playing football. This is the first game all season outside of the Bills game. But to be fair, we did have Aaron Rodgers at that point. This is the first game that I walked into thinking the Jets are going to win. Not, I think the Jets are going to win. They should. They are going to win, baby. The Giants have had a rough stretch. They squeaked one out last week against the Commanders, but they've just not looked good, man. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, and it's not going to be Daniel Jones, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor, which might actually give them an advantage, but that's beside the point. I felt great rolling into this game. First drive, Jets fumble, Zach Wilson just not being aware of his surroundings, which is so much fun, and the Giants get the ball. The Jets defense clamps down. They only allow 4 plays before the Giants have to kick a field goal, but they had really good field position to start with. Those are themes, which is the Jets defense clamping and 4-play drives. Oh boy, you ready for 4-play drives, everybody? You ready for really, really, really short drives? Because you better be ready for short drives. 5-play drive punt for the Jets where they gain 5 yards. 4-play drive for the Giants where they gain 3 yards and punt. 4 plays, 9 yards, punt for the Jets. 4 plays, 4 yards, punt for the Giants. 7 plays, baby! Rolling now. 15 yards, punt for the Jets. 4 plays, 7 yards, punt for the Giants. 2 plays, 50 yards, miracle touchdown. Absolutely did not deserve that. That's a passing touchdown, by the way. That's a passing touchdown. And I think Breece Hall caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage. 7-3, baby! Let's go Jets! Love them Jets! Always believed in them Jets! That's all just the first quarter, by the way. Now we move to the second quarter. And folks, usually games have the decency to wait to jump the shark until like late in the fourth quarter. This game said, no! Second quarter, second drive. Bang! Jets on a 4-play drive. Fun, by the way. I'm going to gloss over a lot more like very short drives because I don't want this video to last 10 hours. It's probably going to be a long one anyway, but that's not the point. 4-play drive for the Jets that goes absolutely nowhere. And Connor McGovern gets injured on a play. That's not good because Connor McGovern is one of the only good offensive linemen the Jets have. And he's still pretty just okay. And he's your center. That's an important position to have. And so the Jets have to move to Wes Schweitzer. And like on one hand with Wes Schweitzer, I like him because his name is Wes and that's cool. But on the other hand, his name is Schweitzer. And I'm Polish. And then you have 2 miserable drives for the Giants and Jets where both of them go less than 20 yards. And the Giants get the ball back. And Tyrod Taylor gets hurt. And on a serious note, that sucks. I like Tyrod Taylor. It was awful to see him get injured. I know he's had rib injury in the past. You hope and pray he's okay. That one sucked to see. I was very sad to see him leave this game. But now, again, jumping a second shark, the Giants are down to their 3rd string quarterback. And I had never in my life heard of this gentleman, but Tommy DeVito, not to be confused with Danny, enters the game. The first NFL game he has ever played in. We're getting there. And then the Jets go on an invigorating 5-play drive where they pick up 19 yards, 3 yards, another 3 yards. And then Zach Wilson forgets the sport of football and loses 21 yards on a sack. And then Wes Schweitzer goes down. And here's the thing about Wes Schweitzer going down. He's the backup center. The Jets have 2 backup centers, and they're both injured. We're out of players. Enter Xavier Newman, who, since being drafted in 2022 by the Titans, has played in, this was his 5th NFL game, and had played, I believe, 27 total snaps, both on offense and special teams combined in his NFL career before today. And in real time, the Jets had to teach this poor man how to snap a football on the sideline. Because, we're out of players, and you're the unlucky man who now has to figure out how to play a new position in the highest level of competition for football in the entire world. How can your heart not go out to this guy? He was on the Titans. He only played a couple of games in 2 years with them. Gets cut. The Jets pick him up to be like a super low on the roster practice squad type player. And all of a sudden, he goes from, yeah, you are not seeing action today, to, hey, you're going to play the majority of this game starting every single play as the center, which is a position you've never played. And he had to. Like, he's a young kid. He's trying to make a career in the NFL work. You can't say, oh, no, I don't know how to do that, and then just sit back down. You've got to answer the call. And the first play as a center, he fumbles the snap. And I will give him this, which is he made a lot of people's lives a little bit better with that play. Because now, when your annoying friend or kind of drunk uncle, while watching a game, probably after some beverages during Thanksgiving, says, how can a player not do blank? I could do that. You can respond with, no, you couldn't, because an actual professional player who was in the NFL could not snap a ball, which is literally moving it from the ground to a person's hands. And he could not do it. So at least you have that. Now, after that, the next drive, the snap was pretty high by Newman. It was not good. There were a few snaps. He settled in. I thought for the third quarter and the fourth quarter, he was fine. I had forgotten. I had not noticed it anymore. But when I say that there is no professional team like the New York Jets, this is it. This is it. Name another team that in real time has had to scour the sideline going, please, for the love of God, who knows how to snap a football or who wants to learn? So you go into halftime and the Jets are leading 7-3. And you come out of the half and the defense and this is important, the Giants had 10 offensive drives in the first half. There are games where you might not have 10 total offensive drives. And you might say, well, Weston, that's kind of ridiculous. You're always going to have that. It's like 2 drives a quarter with a third one somewhere in one of them, or 2 with an extra one. That's not out of the question that you could have 10 drives in a game. If it's a really slow-moving, ground-focused game, which this one was, it was raining a lot. It was miserable to throw the ball. This was a ground game for both teams, especially for the Giants, because, again, Tommy DeVito was in this game. Need I say more? It's not unheard of for you to have, 10 or 11 drives. They had 10 drives by the half. The defense for the Jets was dead. They were out there constantly, flying for most of it. They were gassed. The Giants finally had a drive that broke through. Saquon Barkley was gashing the Jets. And finally on the goal line, the Jets said, we're selling out. They're going Barkley. And it was at that moment that the Giants said, but have you considered DeVito? DeVito goes 6 yards, completely untouched. There was no one even remotely close to him, and the Giants have a 10-7 lead. But hey, the Jets' defense had been amazing, and they continued to be amazing. All the Jets had to do was have a somewhat cromulent drive, and they could easily tie the game, or hell, maybe even take the lead. That's not that hard. And they couldn't. They couldn't. I'm going to run through the rest of them until we get to the end, because I need you to understand the pain that is being a Jets fan. 8 plays, 5 yards. 4 plays, 9 yards. 4 plays, 9 yards. 6 plays, 26 yards. That was the big one for the Jets. And then the 7-play turnover on downs. The last gasp for the New York Jets. Right? Under 2 minutes to play. They miss a 4th and 10. Because no one can catch a ball or put their hands under it. The Giants take over. They gain a couple yards. It's 4th and 1. They decide, kick the field goal. You'll leave the Jets with literally no time and no timeouts. There is no feasible way the Jets could possibly come back in this game. And then they miss the field goal. But, debatably, it's better that way. Because now the Jets are starting on their own 25-yard line. They have no timeouts, and they have 24 seconds. And I need you to understand this. They, in the entire game to that point, had gained like 150-ish yards. They're not going to do another 25% of the total output of the game in 24 seconds. I don't even know how to put into words the last 24 seconds of regulation in this game. The Jets get the ball, and I'm like, whatever, it's not going to happen. And then it's a throw into the middle of the field, and I'm like, yep, time is going to expire, or best case scenario, you're going to get like a playoff with virtually no time. It's useless. 29-yard pickup to Garrett Wilson. That's neat, at least. But there's a flag. And it was offsides by the Giants. And because of that, the clock stops. Which basically means the Jets get a free timeout. And, okay, you're at, like, midfield. That's actually... that was the moment where I'm like, they're not, right? And then with 19 seconds left, the Jets snap the ball. And Zach Wilson throws it in the middle of the field to Allen Lazard. And I see that he's not going to get it, and I just put my head in my hands, knowing that the Jets had lost the game, because there is no physical way they're going to be able to spot the ball in time. And with 1 second left, the ball hits the ground. They somehow went 58 yards in 23 seconds and now have an opportunity to tie the game. And Greg Zuerlein, because he's automatic, ties the game. And that was the moment where I'm like, oh my God, the Jets are going to win this game. They don't deserve to win this game. They shouldn't win this game. It's the most undeserving win I have ever watched this team get. But holy God, they're going to win this game. Giants get the ball to start overtime. Immediately a holding call backs them up 10 yards. It's 1st and 20. No gain on a rush. -1 yard on a pass play. Incompletion. The Jets get the ball in overtime with the chance that should they do anything, field goal or anything, they are going to win the game. And it looks like they are going to do basically nothing. Run for no gain, incomplete pass. Miracle. Zach Wilson, 11-yard dart to Garrett Wilson. It's a first down. That's really neat and handy. 5-yard rush. Cool. Incomplete pass. That's not great. And then a deep throw on 3rd down. And I thought they were cooked because it was very much going to be incomplete. And pass interference on the Giants. Now, we can debate about this. I think, obviously, the way the rule is written, that was pass interference. Now, the question of should, if 2 people are running like this, and the guy ahead of it is the receiver, and he realizes the ball is underthrown and he stops, and the defender runs into him, should that be pass interference? That's a really neat question to have. I don't care, because my team won the funny bad game. So, 30 yards for the Jets, and they immediately say, oh dear God, no, we are not running any plays. Get Zuerlein on the field now. 33-yard attempt by Greg Zuerlein. It's up. It's good. 13-10 final. And the Jets somehow, despite being down 3 at their own 25 with 24 seconds and no timeouts, win this game. And there are many emotions that one can feel. I need you guys to understand these statistics are real. Zach Wilson finishes, somehow he threw for 240 yards in this game, 17 of 36. That's a 1960s stat line if I've ever seen it. He was our leading rusher. Zach Wilson was the leading rusher. You want to know how many rushing yards he had, guys? He had 25. The Jets, in a game in the rain, had less than 50 total yards of rushing. No team like the New York Jets. I'm telling you. Garrett Wilson went over 100 yards. That's super cool for him. I'm happy for him. Breece Hall had like 67 yards, or 76 yards, excuse me. You know, that was neat for him. But this is where it gets just fascinating with this game. The Jets averaged 4 yards per play. I don't know how. It did not feel like that. The Giants averaged 2.8. The Giants finished with -9 passing yards. That is a feat. I have never, and I don't think I ever will see that again. -9 passing yards. Third down efficiency might be the most fun one. 2 for 15 for the Jets, and 2 for 19 for the Giants. Yeah. So just bask in the 4 for 34. Bask in that number. 24 punts in this game. That's a fun one. Giants possessed the ball for 38 minutes in this game and scored 10 points. That is just fascinating. The most fun one is that the Giants had 194 yards of offense, and the Jets, on top of that, gave them 85 extra free yards with 9 penalties. The defense did play technically well in this game because they only allowed 10 points. They looked very undisciplined. There were a lot of stupid penalties in this game. Quincy Williams had a really bad play that could have cost them. Jermaine Johnson had a bad play that could have easily cost them. There's no need for that. You guys are a really good defense. The league understands that you're a really good defense. You're playing a team that you're supposed to kill, but you're not killing them. You are barely leading at that point. Why are you doing anything that could possibly jeopardize? And you might say, oh, well, those are borderline, or those shouldn't be called. I don't care. You don't have to do it. That's what it boils down to. I understand, and I debatably even agree that Jermaine Johnson's shouldn't have been called. You don't have to do it. They're calling the play dead. You can tell that they're calling the play dead. There are 5 other people wrapped up. You don't have to do it. The defense looked undisciplined. But, it's nitpicking. It is such nitpicking because they allowed 10 points. I said last year that the Patriots game in Foxborough might be the worst game I have ever watched of the New York Jets. This is the new one. This is it. This is the worst game I've watched. Oh boy, it was just... What can you possibly take away from the offense in this game? The defense is solid, but we knew that. Like, that's not shocking. What can you possibly take from the offense from this game and say, hey, good job? There's nothing. Now, I'm not an idiot. I understand a couple of things. One, it was raining and the conditions were miserable. 2, the Giants know that you want to run the game through Breece Hall, and so they stacked the box a lot. And to make matters even worse, with a healthy offensive line, right? All of your best guys out there starting this game. It's still going to be difficult to stop that Giants pass rush. I understand that fact. It doesn't help when you're down to a third-string center who is learning how to play the position during the game. Like, that underrated, that he was in real time learning to play a position. Like, can you imagine in an other context game? Like, imagine that for baseball, and, like, during the middle of an actual meaningful game. Not, like, extras or, you know, you're losing by 15 in the 7th inning. But, like, in an actual meaningful situation. Like, the Giants are not the Giants. Actually, screw it, I will say the Giants. Like, the Giants and Yankees are playing, and the Yankees are like, oh my god, we're out of pitchers. Aaron Judge has to learn in real time how to throw a curveball. That was this. Like, in a meaningful game, he had to learn a new position. I understand that the Jets had a lot of stuff working against them offensively. But for that to be your output is just... Can I say that with injuries, I don't really care all that much. You had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. I understand injuries happen. That was one of the worst offensive performances I have watched. I think that very easily can rival the Patriots game last year. I know you scored a touchdown in this game. That's neato spaghetto, but that was still really, really, really bad. But I said it. I said it video, if I'm not mistaken. The Jets are the Jets. They don't play or operate in the normal scheme of what we believe football to be. They are in their own plane of existence. The Jets live in this weird space where, like, they can clearly interact. They're not ghosts. They can interact with the other teams because they play the other teams. But those teams play football. The Jets play Jetball. Anyway, love them Jets. Love them Jets. Never doubted. Can't wait for next week where the Jets play again. Love me them Jets, baby. But that's the thing. The Jets have broken us to a point as a fan base where I somehow am like, that sure was funny. Like, I walk away from that game with positive feelings. I shouldn't walk away with anything positive. But I'm just kind of like, bad game, but Jets win, 4-3, playoff picture, woo! And now the Jets get an extra rest day going into next week when they prepare to take on the Los Angeles Chargers in MetLife Stadium. Monday Night Football, that'll be Monday night at 8:15. I'll be here very late afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that is all I have to say. So, if you all enjoyed this video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. Hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Jets.